The Mayor's opponents have failed to block his decision to make cuts to the police and fire service next year. The cuts are part of Boris Johnson's budget, which he says will see a reduction in council tax of 7p a week, but which they say is trivial compared to the impact on emergency services. It wasn't business quite as usual at City Hall, as our political editor Tim Donovan explains.
Outside City Hall, it was the last chance to condemn, if not prevent, the Mayor's plans, which include the closure of police and fire stations and the loss of police staff and firefighters. While inside,
the Mayor is going to make massive cuts to our essential emergency services in this city. And those are emergency services that become even more vital during a recession.
He said he was cutting and saving safely, backed by the fire and police top brass, and his responsible spending would help steer the capital's economy out of trouble.
The programmes that we are leading here in City Hall will deliver 200,000 jobs in this mayoral term, much of it through infrastructure investment in housing, in transport or regeneration.
The Mayor's usually questioned for upwards of 2 hours on his budget, but after less than half an hour this morning, something unexpected.
Well, I'm more than happy to make it now.
No.
Noticing one of the 9 Tory Assembly members missing, the opposition group saw a chance to vote down the budget, abruptly curtailing the Mayor.
We then thank the Mayor for his attendance because the Assembly members have decided they have no questions to put to you.
Are you saying they're abdicating their duty to scrutinise me? Are you saying they haven't the guts to put questions to me? Great supine protoplasmic invertebrate jellies.
As the Mayor packed up his papers, enter right the missing member, Tory Deputy Mayor Victoria Boris, scuppering the opposition's manoeuvre just in time. They weren't the only ones disappointed that this bid to scrap the Mayor's cuts package had failed to happen.
And Tim's with me now. Some heated scenes there at City Hall, but the budget has gone through. Just clarify for us, what does it actually mean for London's fire and police service?
Firstly, by the standards of budget-setting meetings, that was quite dramatic. I mean, these things are all relative. But, yeah, on to the big numbers. On the fire service, 12 stations to be closed, happening this year and next year. That's going to mean also 520 firefighters to go, 18 engines cut. So the fire service are feeling the effect. But the effect felt by the police is even greater. They are losing £265 million next year. That's going to mean closure of 65 stations or front counters. And as we know, they're stripping out senior ranks, middle-ranking officers and replacing them by constables. The Mayor says there'll be a more visible presence at the end. But there's a really significant thing about the policing, that Boris Johnson's cutting beyond the loss of grant. And if he had made or used all the savings from policing and passed that on to the council taxpayer, it would be an even bigger reduction in their council tax, but he hasn't. So he's using savings from the police to fund other priorities. And
it's not just emergency services affected by this budget?
No, very helpfully, already there, transport. We're losing £200 million in government grant for the transport system, but that's being helped or being plugged, if you like, by the fare rises up to or 1% above inflation. But you can really see here the effect and the drain of Crossrail in particular. £2 billion being raised next year alone in supplementary rates on businesses, even though 1.5 only is going to be spent next year. You can see how they're kind of building up a chest for the future construction of that project. And then finally, housing, though, something as we've heard earlier in the programme is becoming an increasing crisis. The amount available for affordable homes next year, down a half. And to see why that is a problem, the number of new homes started in this last year was 35% on the previous year. So that is, without doubt, becoming an increasing challenge, housing, to the Mayor.
OK, Tim, thank you. Our political editor